LOX Law Call, underwritten in the public interest by the law firm of Reeves and Medier, the attorneys for South Mississippi.
And good evening, my friends. I'm Ken Flanagan. Thank you so much for joining us here on Law Call on WLOX and WDAM. We've got a great show for you tonight. Fighting the insurance company. If you've had any trouble with a dispute or delay with your insurance company, maybe it's a car accident or a health insurance claim, we got just the guy for you tonight for fighting the insurance company. The phone lines are now open, 896-0713 or 1-800-349-0713. And maybe you're not fighting them, but maybe you're just having some trouble with them. If you're fighting them, having trouble, delays, anything like that, we got the perfect guy for you tonight. We're also coming around a little bit. What if you're hurt on the job while you're driving for your work? Well, we're going to talk about that. Plus all your email questions. We got a lot of great email questions tonight for you as well. Joining me from the law firm of Reeves and Medier, he's your friend, he's my friend, he's our Saturday night buddy, Mr. Jim Reeves. Jim, good evening. Glad to have you, my friend.
Likewise.
Fighting the insurance company, dramatic title, but the simple fact is, if you got a claim, this could be something you're involved with, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, fighting the insurance companies, that's something that we do day in and day out. I've done it for 30 years now. I've been up against all of them at one time or another.
Right, big and small.
And there are a lot of lessons to be learned from all that experience, and a lot of things you have to be very careful of when you're dealing with an insurance company, particularly with a serious claim. Most of the time when you're dealing with an insurance company, it's a hurricane loss, it's a car wreck, it's some loss at your house. It's usually pretty serious, and so the rules are serious. You need to understand what you're up against. You need to understand when you need a lawyer, when you may not, and how to protect your interests, because it is, in the end, an adversarial system. The insurance company makes its money by collecting premiums and not paying claims, and you expect your claim to be paid for the premium that you've given them all these years, and that's the rub.
Got a great question in from TJ, Jim, for you. I want to get to it before we get into the break. TJ asks, what is a reasonable amount of time I should expect to wait for an injury claim to get resolved? Great question, TJ. I've got some broken ribs from a wreck. I'm assuming a car wreck, but we'll see. But no one is calling me back. Do I need a lawyer? Jim, I can feel TJ's pain on this one. I've had some broken ribs before in the past, too. Always take forever to heal.
Painful, no way to get comfortable. It's maybe one of the worst.
You can't cry.
You
can't
everything.
Sleep, no, you really
nothing.
can't.
So it's tough.
What are your thoughts?
You need a lawyer. Short answer is you need a lawyer. The second answer is tougher, reasonable amount of time. People always want to know two things, and I feel like I always give lawyer-like answers, vague answers, but they want to know when the claim is going to be resolved and how much they're going to get. And that's incredibly hard to know with any certainty on the front end of any claim. But let me tell you what typically has to happen before a claim is in a position to be either resolved or tried. So a lot of times what drives all of this is your medical condition. So if you have broken ribs, for instance, a doctor will treat you. At some point, the doctor will say you're it's called maximum medical improvement. Okay, so TJ is as good as he's going to get. At that point, we can reasonably place a value on the case of what we should expect to settle for or what we should expect to get in a verdict. And at that point in time, that sets the stage for a potential resolution. So quite often, breaks like this, more or less typically within a year, you're at maximum medical improvement, maybe just shy of a year. So it takes time. But sometimes with extenuating circumstances, it may take longer than that.
Sure.
But you should, if you've got broken ribs, you've been in an accident, you at least need to talk to a lawyer. That's a serious enough injury. You don't need to try to handle it alone, at least at this point.
Yeah, and
this is a great time to sort of talk about this too.
Okay.
Really, as hurricane season starts, before a hurricane gets in the Gulf, especially with the price of building materials rising exponentially over the past year and a half, take a look at your policies. Talk to your agent. You may need to up your insurance amounts, okay? It's probably going to take more to replace your home
idea, Jim.
than it did a year and a half ago, and you may be underinsured and not even realize it.
Well, and you asked Janice a great question, what's her deductible? We're like, Janice, like all of us, who knows what our deductible is? I mean, it's on a piece of paper, probably you don't on the side of the refrigerator in a drawer somewhere.
And you don't remember it. You don't, even if you discussed it at the time, you probably don't even remember it because it's probably been a couple of years ago.
Right.
But that's where it all starts. And it's a good thing, too, not only to check the amount of your coverages, make sure you have enough as we get into the hurricane season, but make sure you have your hands on a policy. If you don't have the policy somewhere, get it. Put it with your other important papers so you have it handy. You're not asking for it after the storm hits,
Right.
and everything is in chaos. Okay.
The side of my refrigerator, our refrigerator, we got some magnets. That's where all the important documents are. That's a great way to go, isn't it, Jim?
It's a way to go. I'm
It's
not
way
sure it's
to
a
go.
great way to go,
great
but it's a way to go.
It's a great way. All right, Saturday night, doing your legal calls and questions on the air. But until then, my friends, good night.